Hello and welcome to the Local 303 virtual meetup from Colorado Public Radio's Indy 102.3. For the uninitiated, I'm Alicia Sweeney, the local music director here, and over the next half hour, we've got some conversations coming up with some of our featured Colorado artists. Joining us is members of the Velveteers Waiting Room. We've got Doze and Big Dopes. Now, in the before times, the meetup with our featured Colorado bands of the month would be live in person. But we're grateful to be able to do this online since lockdown happened in 2020. And over the last year and a half, we've really been enjoying these mini interviews on Zoom from our homes to yours. Now, I want to introduce my co-host, Jeremy Peterson. He and I are going to take turns interviewing bands. Hi, Jeremy. Happy Decorative Gourd season.
Oh, I was going to say happy spooky season, but yeah, Decorative Gourd too.
Yeah.
For those who celebrate.
So Jeremy, you know, with these meetups, in addition to talking with bands about their music projects, we like to throw in a question that we ask each act. And I thought since it is spooky season, we should lean into Halloween. And Jeremy, you've been in bands in the past, so I also think that you could answer this question. If your band was to play a Halloween show, what would the group costume be?
The group costume, well, I can only go with actual experience. And so I was in a Smiths cover band. And one year for Halloween, we played a show and we were the Robert Smiths. We all dressed up as Robert Smith and played Smiths. Anyway, that's my answer. What about you? Robert
Smith as the Cure. So playing the Smiths. I love it.
We threw on Lullaby for fun too. But yeah.
You know, I'm not in a band. I've dressed up as musicians in the past, though, that I love when I've gone to like concerts or parties. There's pictures out there of me dressed as Dolly Parton, also Stevie Nicks one year. But I think if I had a band, I would probably have us all dress up as characters from Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, perfect.
Like Margot.
Yes.
I want to say thanks to our sponsor, Boulder Company, Mortal Kombucha, and I think we should just get to it. I'm going to start off. Jeremy and I are going to take turns interviewing these great bands, and our first band is from Boulder. It's the Velveteers. Guitarist and singer Demi Dimitro. She's right there. Hi, Demi.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're getting ready to go do sound check. You're on tour. You're on the road right now. You guys are opening up for who?
We're on tour right now with a band called Doze Rocks.
Nice.
Yeah, they're from New York. They're really cool.
And you guys have been doing a run through Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, tonight is our third night in Texas. So
very cool. So you founded the group back in 2014. That's kind of when you got on our radar, just right after you released that debut single, Death Hex. Right now, the group is you, and then you have two drummers, Baby Pottersmith, Johnny Fig, and you guys have been out on tour. But I'm excited to talk about tour, but I first want to lean into talking about you releasing your new album, your official debut release with Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys. But okay, so before we get to that Halloween question, if you were to play a Halloween show, what would the group costume be?
Oh man, that's a good question, but a really tough one too. We were all talking about this like earlier, like last week. We were like, it would be really fun to be characters from The Grinch, because I love The Grinch. Like, or as like a band, like if we were doing a cover set, it would be really fun to do The Cramps.
That would be rad. Oh, you guys would know that. I love that. Okay, so let's talk new album, Nightmare Daydream. It's out on Easy Eye Sound, came out in early October. This is the label of Dan from Black Keys. And I heard he saw clips of you guys online and then he reached out and asked if he could produce your album. Tell me the story, because, you know, I'm someone who loves seeing great things happen to great bands in both little and big ways. This feels big for me, for you guys.
Yeah, it was definitely a very surreal experience. We were just sitting on our couch one day and we got a phone call saying that Dan had seen videos of us on YouTube and he wanted to fly us out to Nashville to meet him. And we're like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder, like, what does he want, you know? So then I think like 2 weeks later, we were in Nashville and it ended up being that he really wanted to record us and sign the band. So we were very taken back. We were just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like we didn't expect this at all. So
I love that. Leading up to going to Nashville, how much of the album was done by the time you had signed? Like, what was life here in Colorado like, knowing you had this timeline to get ready to go to Nashville to record?
we were just writing like every single day. We would go crazy making new demos every day. And we would sit down and like force ourselves to just like write as many songs as possible. So by the time we got to Nashville, we already had a lot of the record written. And then when we got to Nashville, we did a couple writing sessions with Dan. And Dan is really into like doing like the typical like Nashville songwriting session. So what he does is like, he has all these artists come in and we all get around a table and we just start writing. So we had like 3 songs that we wrote within that period, and 2 of them ended up on the album. So
which ones are they?
Charmer and the Snake and Bless Your Little Heart.
Yeah. So for you, Charmer and the Snake, which was your guys' first single, I get that one stuck in my head a lot. What was the writing process like for you then?
I think it kind of started out like I just had this like kind of slinky riff that I was playing around with, and I was like, hey guys, what do you think of this riff? And then we just kind of took it from there. And I don't know, I just had this vision in my head of like, I don't know, the music industry is filled with such a lot of really slimy men, and I think a lot of people have had that experience, so we kind of wanted to write about it.
I love that. All right, touring is back. You're currently on the road. How are you and the band doing? What's it been like? Because you were home for a long time, like so many of us.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's so weird to be out on the road again, and I find myself every night like getting super nervous because I just haven't really played shows in such a long time. And so every night I kind of have to like give myself a pep talk and be like, oh, you've done this millions of times. But other than that, it's been really cool and just really awesome to be able to get that interaction with like a real crowd, because everything has just been like live streams and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you on the new record release. And I hope you have a great rest of your tour. And we can't wait to have you back in Colorado. You're going to be at the Gothic Theater on November 26th. And Demi, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I know you're getting ready to do sound check. If you can hang out for a little bit longer, it'd be cool. We understand if you leave. And otherwise, I'm going to hand it over to Jeremy, who's going to talk with a band that was born during quarantine, Waiting Room.
Indeed. No, so nice to have Waiting Room here. 4/5 of the band, anyway, almost all of them made it. But if you're familiar with the Denver scene over recent years, you might be familiar with a couple of faces in the band, at least, that being Brianna and Jessica, former members of Corner Girls, which were well known in Denver. And now this new project, Waiting Room, as much as we have endured during the pandemic, there's the silver linings from it as well. And one of those new bands popping up, and you guys are a pandemic band, I guess, right?
We are a pandemic band.
I don't know what that means otherwise, but
it was kind of nice. Like, it was definitely a silver lining just because we kind of had a lot of time to just hang out with each other and play music with no like end goal really in mind. So it was nice.
Well, the folks joining us are Brianna and Stevie and Nathan and Emmanuel. Now, Jessica was the other member of Corner Girls with you. That's the way this project started, was just the two of you?
Yes. We had started just like sharing pieces of stuff that we were writing with each other that was like quite different from anything that could have been used in the Corner Girls. So all that was kind of just like kept to the side, and then we just started sharing it, and then we started writing together songs. And then I met Stevie, and I knew that they played guitar and we needed like a lead guitarist. So then Stevie played with us for like a couple months, just us 3, because we couldn't find other members. And then we found Nathan to drum, then we recorded, and then Emmanuel joined our live band for our first performances.
And kudos to Emmanuel on the mood lighting for spooky season 2 here today on the Zoom.
Thanks.
Echoes, yeah. Echoes is the debut EP, and Cool Girl was the first single. And what a way to introduce yourself as a new band. The video for Cool Girl is really fantastic. It looks very stylish to begin with, but I don't know how much pasta was actually eaten in the filming of that video. There's pie faces, there's glitter. Talk about the making of Cool Girl video.
It was very much like a chaotic sort of thing. And we just had all these like scattered ideas. And that was like, yeah, it was our first like time in that space together. And of course, the wonderful Kim directs us and like, helps us bring that sort of style aspect at least together. But it's kind of very much organized chaos when we're there, because we're just all trying to have fun. So a lot of it was just, that having fun.
Yes, it looks like a lot of fun, and it's a great song. It's one we've been hearing all month long as part of the local 303. How about live? Have you guys played a show yet? I know you have one coming up, but have you played live together yet?
Yeah, we played at least 3 live shows.
Okay, and you've got November 14th at Lost Lake on the way. How's that been? I know, since you played shows as members of other bands, how's that been since live music has come back? Has it felt different to you and the interaction with the audience?
I think it's been pretty cool because most of what we've worked on has just been to our ears, and the lucky few who live around us with us. So it's been nice to know that these songs like work IRL as well. Yeah, and I just feel like we all vibe together really well. So being on stage together and sharing a stage just is really fun.
Well, again, that is November 14th at Lost Lake. Next chance to catch Waiting Room. Quickly, I have to ask you the Halloween question. A group playing a Halloween show, what would yours be? I guess individually, since you might not all agree.
Oh, we've thought about this.
Yeah. In my wildest dreams, I would love, and we might just be Captain Planet in them.
Nice. Yes. Who would be
with a cover of the theme song?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Also, I have to give extra shout out because you guys immediately got my attention. You referenced in your influences on our local 303 page a lot of great bands, but somebody that nobody ever references, and especially not by their name, David Gavirin, guitarist for the Sundays.
Oh my
I saw
God.
that. I was like, I know I'm going to love Waiting Room.
Yeah. Just the ethereal guitar sound. Like we hear it a lot with the Smiths, but when you have a vocalist like Harriet Wheeler at the forefront, it just elevates it, I think.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Waiting Room, for being here. Alicia, you've got Doze next.
I do. And this is so fun. It's so great to hear everybody's stories. And Doze is up next. Nice to see you, friend, and meet you at the Underground Music Showcase this year.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm loving hearing your music on the radio this month. And before we talk about your music, Meetup question time. It's when you're on stage, it's just you and a DJ, right?
Correct, yeah.
All right. That said, if you're playing a Halloween show, what would the group costume be?
So I was just thinking about this, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I've never loved Halloween. I'm like that weird person who's just not about it. And, I'm always true to myself. I'm not going to pretend like it's my thing, but I do have a dog named Dino, and he's a wiener dog. And this Halloween, we're going to dress him up as a wine bottle and call him Dino Grigio. So I would bring Dino on stage with me, and he would sit like a good dog in his wine bottle costume, and he would be a handmade for the day, I think, if I did a show for sure.
All right, I'm rolling with that. I respect it. Totally respect it. So your background is originally from Providence, Rhode Island. You went to college at CU Boulder. You got an arts degree, and now you're just living your best life, creating music in 5 Points here in Denver.
That's exactly right. This is my little studio, and everything you hear, if you go stream my music, all the visual, everything that I do is all done in this room. So I produce, record, write, mix, master, everything, as well as, make the cover art and direct the videos all from this is kind of like headquarters, this little room.
HQ,
Exactly.
Doze HQ. All right. So you started up in 2018, and thinking over the last couple of years since you've been part of the Denver music scene, for you, what do you like about being a part of it?
That's a really good question. I think it's the community. You know, when I first came to Denver, I got really lucky in falling into place with Yazi. She became one of my really close friends, and I know she was a past person on the radio with you guys.
And I think she introduced me and you.
Yeah, she's like one of my best friends. We talk almost every other day on the phone because we have similar problems being musicians, as I'm sure everyone in this room can relate to. It's the constant comparing yourself to other people, the mental health issues that we all go through. And I think it's the best part for me was not being alone in it. And that's what I found in the Denver music scene, as well as people who aren't necessarily musicians like Lulu. And I first started working with Souls in Action when I moved here, when she was running that. And they really like kind of lifted me up and showed me the ropes and gave me opportunities that I'm forever grateful for. So definitely am a product of my environment, and that environment's been like wildly supportive, you know?
Mm-hmm. You said throughout pandemic that a lot didn't change for you as far as how you make music, but I'm wondering lyrically, has things changed for you?
Yeah, I think everyone's like, I've always been sort of introverted and sad, even though I'm like a happy person day to day, you know, but my music is when I express those sad feelings. That's like my outlet. The healthy way to do it, I guess, is write music. So that's what I try to do. And during the pandemic, I tried to pivot a little bit to become more positive, because I released my debut EP Outside in May, and we had no idea any of this was going to happen. And we teamed up with MCA and did a live event and everything virtually. And that was a very ethereal, not necessarily sad, but introspective album. And I kind of wanted to pivot and start creating positive music. And it's been a challenge, not because I'm not positive and I'm not happy. I'm a really happy person, but it's been hard to channel that energy after so many years of being sad and picking up the guitar or playing piano to kind of get myself out of the funk, you know? So that is kind of how things changed for me. So I think moving forward, you can expect at least a project or two of positivity. And that doesn't mean everything's happy-go-lucky, like, woo, everything's perfect. It means just looking at everything with the frame of optimism rather than pessimism. Yeah.
Gotcha. So I think your last gig you played was Underground Music Showcase.
Yep.
And you don't have anything coming up. Are you more of a studio person, or do you want to do more live gigs?
I love performing. I've been performing my whole life, and not as Doze, but been doing on the stage since I was like a kid, and plays and stuff. And it's always been, you know, love the spotlight. But I think I go through waves of creating. I don't like to go and do a show without having something new to perform that keeps the excitement going for me, where it's not just playing the same song over and over again. And right now we're looking at opportunities to join tours and to kind of spread that Denver awareness throughout the country. So we're just, you know, playing it by ear while I sit in this room, as always, and create every day, you know?
Yeah. Your latest single is called Times 1000. It came out in September. It's been a blast talking to you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. The Local 303 Meetup is sponsored by Mortal Kombucha, and now joining us from the road, Jeremy's going to talk with Big Dopes, our final act.
Joined from the road by Big Dopes, Eddie Schmidt fronts the band, who are, as you see, currently in the midst of their very first tour. A scene from the van. Hey, Eddie, nice to have you.
How you doing? Yes, thanks for having me. Awesome.
I'm good. So I got to ask, Big Dopes, self-described, at least on your Facebook page, Denver Gramp Wave. what is Gramp Wave? I don't know about that.
It's hard to, you know, I want to capture our essence the best way I can. For whatever reason, I've gravitated towards when I think about what we want to wear, grandpa clothes and things like that.
Cardigans?
Garments of that nature. And
sure.
People have always told me that this is kind of a weird thing, but several people in my life have been like, I just wish you were my grandpa. And it was a very weird thing to say to someone, but I was like, okay, I mean, that's, you know, I think they meant it in a nice way.
I think it could be much worse, for sure.
It could be much worse. And I guess there's something about our vibe that feels a little bit, I think energies of our songs sometimes a little bit cranky, but still friendly, hopefully. And I guess I want to channel that sort of the grandpa energy of, devil may care. I'm at the end of my life. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's the Big Dope's grandpa wave energy that we're going for. So,
well, some of us don't want to admit it, but you also reference 90s indie rock, and let's face it, fans of 90s indie rock are becoming grandpas, aren't they? So
exactly.
Built to Spill and Guided by Voices, and that kind of thing. Yeah. Destination Wedding, that's the new record. It's out November 5th officially. We've been playing a couple of great songs from it. Amy Avenue, Lovers on the Weekdays. Talk about Destination Wedding as opposed to, how it's different from the first record and what you've learned.
Totally, yeah. So the first record we recorded in our bandmate Paul's basement, which was a learning experience in itself, but a wonderful experience. And this was our first album actually in studio. And so we were excited to do that. We went with Mark Anderson of Denver band Paper Bird. He produced the album for us at TBC Recording, which is up in, it's like the Park Hill area. And, so we actually two of my members actually live outside of Denver now. And during the pandemic, there's a sort of shuffling that happens where people had to go attend to certain things. And so we had to gather 3 different days during the pandemic, get tested and things like that, and have 2 intense days of recording. And so it was very intense but exciting. And I think that we had the fire lit under us to get something done, so we were proud of. And then we were able to work on it and add overdubs and other recordings after we finished the live recording of that. So we recorded live together in the studio, hopefully to try to capture that live feeling, live energy that we enjoy playing with each other. So we tried to be very intentional with all that. It was a really special time. Just we missed each other so much, and I think even though we were away from each other, we felt so much more resolved to be together and cherish these moments when we were recording together. So,
well, I know you commented about missing that energy and about other people kind of filling your creative energies back up, and you'd something you'd missed during the pandemic.
Yes. Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
I was just saying you had commented about missing that energy from other people that's during the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Waiting Room said before us too. There was, I think it was Waiting Room that said they didn't realize how much I don't know, we being with each other, and I really went to the studio and being introverted and enjoying the introverted experience of writing and recording. And then we really missed that live energy of being with each other. And we played UMS recently, and I just felt like a whole bodily change inside of me when I was playing live, feeding off the energy of the crowd. And I think I realized that I'm not an island. I really need other people to inspire my writing and inspire my recording. We just feel more resolved and excited than ever to play and get out.
Well, really quickly, because you're out and we don't want to lose you on the road again, but I was wondering about the Halloween question of what your group might perform as.
Yes, I had trouble thinking of that right away, so I consulted Justin, our bass player, and he said, Milkmen, we'd be Milkmen. And so I thought about that, and I was like, yeah, and if we did it for Halloween, we'd be the Dead Milkmen. So we're all going to be skeletons and have zombie outfits on, but also be milkmen and carry glass bottles of milk.
That is perfect. You can catch Big Dopes at Roxy on Broadway in Denver, November 13th. Actually playing the Front Range as well. Manitou Springs on the 12th, Fort Collins on the 14th. Check them online. And thank you so much, Eddie. Enjoy your tour.
Thank you so much, y'all. I really appreciate including us on this. It's really cool.
Well, we did it, Jeremy. This has been the local 303 virtual meetup for October. My spooky season / pumpkin spice season cup is full right now. And I gotta say thanks so much to our sponsor, Mortal Kombucha, and of course, all the artists that make up the local 303. Thank you all so much. This has been another Indie 102.3 Local 303 virtual meetup, and join us next month, Monday, November 29th, for conversations with another 4 Colorado bands that are inspiring our music community. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.